Hey everybody, what's going on? Eric here. Hope you guys are doing good out there. I'm doing just great. Today we are using dual action cams here. So I've got some work to do on the fretboard and a few other things that I need to take care of before I can ship this thing out to George complete. So I put the new knobs on. They're nice and white. He wanted the blacked out volume, tone writing on it, so he's got that. Everything's working properly. So now I got to work on this neck a little bit, polish up these frets. They're not too bad, but they could be a lot better, a lot more brighter, stick out a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is to protect the fretboard, a little bit of tape on the fretboard, right up close as I can get them to the frets, without being on the fret. And I'm going to go ahead and start polishing these guys up to get them like chrome. So what I'm going to use is, well, the same thing I've always been using. Mothers. Stuff works really good. I mean, I have had no problems with this stuff at all. Even working on automotive stuff, it works great. Aluminum rims, chrome bumpers, you name it, it works on it pretty good. So I'm starting off with just a little bit on my finger. I'm going to put a little bit on there. Just work that in really good. Get both sides of the fret, not just the top. And you should be able to see a little bit of a difference between the two. Now when there's a little bit hazed, that one's nice and shiny again. Now I am going to go over the fretboard with oil again. I think that'll be after I get done doing what I need to do to get this thing up and going. So I'm going to start. Well, I'm already started. I'm going to finish. So let me do that. Alright, so try not to waste too much tape, but this stuff is starting to get real weak now. It's not sticking very well. But I'm going to bring you in a little closer to show you the difference between this side of the fretboard not being polished and this side of the fretboard being polished, and how close I had the tape to the fretboard, so there was nothing going underneath the tape and getting on the fretboard, which you don't want this stuff to get on the fretboard, because if you get it on the fretboard, it's going to be a pain in the ass to get out. So let's kind of like bring in a little bit here. So as you can see here, these guys here have not been polished, but yet these guys here have been, and they have more of a reflection to them right now. You can get a little bit more of background movement than you can on these guys here. So let me get these completed and finished up. Alright, so that's a little time consuming, but well worth it. Now they got a nice polished look to them. Now we got to work on that nut. Alright, so this is something I'm going to show you that I learned a long time ago. Now, if you can see, there's a little bit of a line going across the inside of the nut where the string spacing is. All right, so I use a pencil, one of these pencils that are from Home Depot, used for construction workers and stuff like that. Flattened out one side of it. Now, in order to get a nice sharp tip of it, you got to be careful because you don't want to change the bottom of how flat the bottom is. So if you want to sharpen it, I just take a razor blade and just kind of scrape going that way, this direction, and that gives me a nice slope and gives me a nice sharp point. So I take the pencil, lay it down on top of the frets, make sure that it's not like tilting this way or anything like that, and I just draw the line going across the fret, draw a line on the nut itself, and that kind of shows me exactly like where the strings are going to end up, how close they're going to be with even with this fret. So I'm going to get the dust from the lead out of the grooves itself. Now, these strings that were on this guitar were sunken into that nut pretty good, especially like your high E string and going all the way up to the low E string. You don't want that. You kind of want to have half the string sticking up a little bit out of the nut, not necessarily all the way across, but you don't want these guys sunken as far down as they were either. So what I want to do is I want to remove a little bit of the top of that nut, and with that I'm going to need to get my file. And also I want to protect the fretboard, so I want to use some more of this green tape that I've been using. So I'll put some of the green tape on this side over here. And on this side over here. Now I'm thinking that this nut is a bone nut. I'm kind of hoping so. And doing so, I will probably find out pretty close, pretty straight out right now by doing this. And it feels like it is. So all I'll do is go and cut, keeping a little bit of the arch. Of the arch. Now this side here needs to go down quite a bit, I know that. Keep my tape from curling. Now this feels like, it's cutting like bone. It feels like bone. Going to fit. Not necessarily unraveling them, but see, like that. Now the string is sitting not quite half out of the groove, but it's there. Let's see the high side. Again, I don't want these guys sitting so far deep inside there that they're going to be, cause problems. Yeah, that can go up a little bit more, or down a little bit more. It's in the nut, but it's not sunken so far down in there to where there's quite a bit of walls on each side of the nut. Kind of sucks after these strings unwind themselves. They're kind of a pain in the ass to kind of put back together in their packages. Alright, so I want to try out the low E string. Actually, I want to try out all the strings, make sure they're all where I want them to be. Yeah, that can go down. That can go down further. A little bit more meat in the middle and the end. Now I'm going to go with the jeweler's files. And that's just what these are. These are jeweler files. These are not files that you would use to carve your strings in for your nut. This is just going to smooth out and give me some more shape. I don't want any sharp edges on here either. And see how far the string is sitting there now. Oh yeah, just what I want right there. Just what I want. So now what I'm going to do is take a piece of, let's see, 600 grit, 800 grit sandpaper and kind of go over that to polish out the nut a little bit. Give it more of a shine again. And I'm doing this dry. I'm not going to wet sand it. It's going to be dry sanding. So I'm going to smooth out all the edges. All right. I know this sounds kind of stupid, but now I'm going to polish the nut. I'm going to start off with the Number 1, rubbing compound, 3M. If I can get it out of the bottle. I gotta pick up some more of this stuff. I've been using it like crazy. Alright, got a little bit, not a lot, don't need much. This will get inside of the nut, yes, but I can get that out with no problems. Oh, you can hear how smooth that is. Oh yeah. Okay, see, I need to sand a little bit more over here with the 800 grit sandpaper. Now back to the drawing board, right? This side here is nice and smooth, but this side over here is a little bit on the rough side. I don't want that. When all those sanding scratches removed from the nut. That's better. It's much better. I would go with a more aggressive sandpaper, but I don't want to cut or remove too much more off of the nut itself. That's much better than it was. Polish it up again, hit it with some more. Hate that shit, can never get it out of the bottle. It's real thick and I'm running low, so it's either I take the bottle and keep it upside down or get more. Not. Not bad. I mean, I'm not going with custom paint polishing shine here. I don't need to. All I need to do is just polish this up enough to where it's going to have a nice look to it. And not look like shit. Get some of that crap out of there. Alright, so I'm going to hit the low E string again. That's nice. High E string then. If you go evenly down the bat, you should be pretty good with this. That's where I want it. And it still gives me a little bit of room because I haven't not changed anything as far as the depth of the string goes. So if I still need to lower it a little bit, it gives me enough room just to knock it down just a touch to say if this is a little bit too high, I can knock that down just a touch and still not have a problem. Alright, so next thing I gotta do with this thing is, well, take the shine off the back of the neck. Alright, so this is where people may start to cringe a little bit. I need to get rid of this gloss off this neck. That's what George wants. So I got here some real fine line masking tape, and I want to follow this up. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I want to follow this curve right here. So this will be shiny. The edge of the fretboard will still have a shine on it, but the maple will be backed down a little bit from the gloss. So what I need to do is find the end of this. If I can find the end of this. Ah, there it is. I think that's it. Oh, wrong way. So I'm not going to use a lot of this, but I want to follow this curve that's on this neck. Kind of like following the body line of a car. So I need to get myself in the light over here so I can see that line a little bit better. Right on it. And kind of follow it right into the fretboard. Just like that. This piece here, go ahead and just lay it across here. Don't really need it. The other side, I'm going to do the same thing. Just follow that curve right into the fretboard. And hopefully I've got it pretty damn near close to being equal on both sides. Alright. So that's done there. Now what I also want to do is protect this area here. So with that, I'm going to use some, actually I'm going to use this, because this, I can get the bend in there. Like that. A nice curve right there. And I'm going to fill that in with a little bit of tape. Go right up against the, right on top of the blue that I just put there. Just to protect the rest of the neck. So this part here will be shiny still. Same thing with this side here. I'll still have a shine there. And let's see here, did I hit both of them right where I wanted? This one's got to be changed just a little bit. The nice thing about this tape is you can lift it reapply. There you go. Alright. Cover everything that I do not want to sand. For the edge of the fretboard, make sure I am on only the color of the fretboard, not the maple. And go. Fold that over a little bit. Do the other side. This is where masking cars, doing the automotive side of things, come into play. I'm going to make sure this is straight too, so too much of the fretboard showing. Alright, right there. Now I need a stopping point at the top of the neck. Which will stop it right here. And curve around the top. This side kind of curve to meet where the other one is, right there. All right, so time to do some sanding. So I'm going to use this 1500 grit sandpaper. Actually, I'm going to use 1000 grit. What I want to do is I want to get around these sides over here, but not remove the tape. So it has a nice solid line right where those tape lines are. So I'm not seeing any shiny spots. And a little bit over here. Alright, that's it. No more. I don't want to take any more of that down. I don't know how much further I can go. And no more shininess. So where I left the shine at was just on the edges of the fretboard. And that's what I want. And this should have a nice line over here. Yep, going into from shiny to dull. Same way over here. Should be a nice line going from shiny to dull. And that's what I want. I want to have that shine on the fretboard the way it's supposed to. The shiny going into the dull, conversion from the neck and the headstock, and shiny to dull at the bottom where the heel is. That should be nice and smooth now for him to play. Alright, so the last thing to do with this thing, at least one of the last things to do, is basically do a setup, or string it up, or wait, sorry, polish it first, oil the fretboard again, start doing the setup with the string, putting the strings on, and ship it back to George. So we're getting that much further with it. So I've got a little bit of a powder mess over here to clean up. I got some parts that I need to bag up for George, and yeah, get this thing shipped back to him. I'm sure he's waiting for it patiently. Thank you, George, for being patient. And yeah, so I will see you guys soon. So take care. Have a good one. Keep on rocking out.